Hi, I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel, and today we're going to be showing you a 2020 Chevrolet 3500 HD with the L5P Duramax. This is a work truck package, 3500 single wheel, and we're going to show you the entire truck, obviously. But super nice truck. I think that one of the biggest shakeups for this truck has been the front end. I think that, you know, when we first started seeing some of the prototype pictures of this truck when it came out, you know, you had a lot of very strong opinions on this truck. A lot of people hated it. A lot of people loved the front end of this truck. It's different. It really is different. The size of the grille on these new trucks is a lot to do with the functionality of the vehicle, of the Duramax truck, and just the cooling capabilities of the vehicle, and we'll talk about that in our walkthrough. So whether you like it, whether you hate it, it has to do with function as well. And then I think the second thing that people really were very strongly opinionated about on these trucks were the tow mirrors, or the mirrors that are on these trucks, the 2500 and the 3500 HDs, and we'll get to those when we go through the body. But yeah, as far as a vehicle goes, this is a model year shakeup for Chevrolet and GMC. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to start with talking about engine on these trucks. Now, this truck is still equipped with the L5P Duramax. Not a whole lot of, well, really not very many changes at all to this engine platform. We're going to link you in this video to our other L5P video with a dyno run on it. We're not going to dyno run this truck today because we really don't have any changes in horsepower. This truck at 2020 is 445 horsepower, 910 foot-pounds of torque, so it is a very stout motor. Biggest change for engine compartment was the front cooling fan. The front cooling fan is much larger, almost 2.5 times larger for the cooling fan on this truck. That is going to have to do with the increased towing capability of the 2020 Chevrolets. The 2020 Chevrolets, just depending on what your model is, if you were to buy two-wheel drive, long bed, standard cab, dually truck, the towing capability of that truck on fifth wheel would be 35,500 pounds equipped. Now, I think that the most common truck out there setup is crew cab short bed. So on a crew cab short bed Chevrolet, max towing at the fifth wheel is 21,300 pounds. The overall combined on the crew cab short bed is 29,700. So it's definitely a large combined number. I think that dually two-wheel drive was 43,500 was the combined on that. So now that's the combined, that's not your trailing, but your fifth wheel trailering, just depending on what you got on the truck, was 35,500. They have really upped the towing on these vehicles. They have worked towards making sure that the motor was able to stay cool for that by increasing that fan size. That is a much bigger fan on the front of these trucks, so it's going to be well equipped. The horsepower is there to be able to tow these as well. Now, one of the other biggest changes to be able to handle those types of towing load is that we do go to a 10-speed Allison on this truck, 10-speed transmission, so we'll talk about that once we get there as well. So that pretty well covers. This is still Denso fuel system. This is Denso HP4 Denso injectors on this truck. No changes on that as the 2020 goes. Still working in that Denso fuel system. So that's going to be engine, just L5P stuff. No big changes there. So there we go. Let's go ahead and talk about exterior. And I want to talk about exterior because that's really what this truck platform is leaning on. Some of the sizes that you're going to in the 2020. This truck is longer, it's taller, the bed is bigger. It's just a bigger overall truck, bigger in every way. Interior size is bigger. So, yeah, I mean, you can look at the truck, even, you know, the front profile of the truck is kind of a precursor to, well, it's going to be one of the first Chevrolets that in stock format with stock wheels and tires, you dang near have to, you know, pull yourself into. So we're going to show you that too. All right, so on exterior, you've got a little bit bigger scoop on the hood, bringing air into the engine, which is nice for the ram air system. I'm going to call it a ram air system, but it's you know, it's a charge air system, bringing air in through the hood into this scoop right here and directly into the air intake box for the motor. That's a little bit larger than the previous year models. We talked about the grill. I'm not going to stay on the grill. There's changes in the lights just depending on what package that you have. There's some of these that have the LED strips inside the lights when you get into the higher end packages. The tow mirrors, of course, that's another point of contention for people, but I'm going to let Adam kind of look at those right there for you. To me, they're really not that gaudy, I guess is what we talk about. But what Chevrolet is calling the Durabed. The Durabed is the biggest change exterior to the 2020 model truck, and I really think Chevrolet hit a home run with this. I truly feel like Chevrolet hit a home run with this bed. This Durabed has got the step sides for your toolbox right here, so you can get up, get into the bed of the truck very easily, or a toolbox if you have it. And then you have the steps, move that for you, Adam. Then you have the steps on the back of the truck to get into the bed if you just need to step up over on this side or step onto your tailgate. It's right there for you. This bed, a standard short bed, used to be 6 feet 6 inches. Chevrolet has got this now at 6 feet 9 inches, so it's a 3-inch longer bed on this truck. It's got the assist tailgate push button. You hit it and it comes down. That's a really nice feature. But I'm gonna let Adam kind of bring the camera around because I want you to see the bed on this truck. Not only is it 3 inches longer, I think it's 2 or 3 inches wider. Overall width on the bed is much wider. I don't know that really translates on camera. I hope that you can see that, but it is a very wide bed, and it's deep. The bed is deep as well. So, you know, this is an increased payload on the truck. I think the payload on this truck combined this is just truck now. I think it's 12.1. Is that right? So on the short bed, it's 12.1. So your whatever vehicle weight is 8,000 plus dang near 2 tons of gear that you can haul. So just watch those numbers. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's, you know, each different platform is different, but tons of hooking points inside of the bed here, and just depending on how you have the truck set up, you've got you can have the trailering package in there. This is set up for the 5th wheel on the puck system, and then it's got the gooseneck ball in it as well. So, and that's all in packages that you pick. But yeah, the bed is super big. Really do like it. And the steps super functional. You know, while we're talking about this on exterior as far as functionality of this truck goes, you know, in this model year, Chevrolet has really started leaning on kind of work trucks. You know, they've come out with a 4500, a 55, and a 6500, what I call a deuce and a half setup. So there really seems like the drive now is to try to get Chevrolet kind of back into that work truck genre. I don't know how else to say it, because if you really think about Chevrolet, when you go, you know, Chevrolet went to independent front suspension in 88 model year, I think that's right. And I think that a lot of Chevrolet guys, when you went away from a solid front axle, I don't know that the whole idea of Chevrolet being a work truck left with that, but I think a lot of guys do it. I have the ability to talk about that because even though I own a Dodge, I also own a Duramax myself. I'm a Chevrolet guy. I grew up in a Chevrolet home. My dad was Chevrolet through and through, GM through and through, and that's part of it. If you're a Chevrolet guy, I know that in '88 when they took the solid front axle out from underneath the 3/4 ton trucks, it was like, oh gosh, you kind of go into a bar fight and you just gotta defend your drunk buddy, you know. So that's it. But one thing I'm going to talk about on body, one thing Chevrolet finally did, they finally did this, boys, is you don't have to put your DEF in underneath of the hood anymore. They finally moved it back here with the fill-up cap, just like the good Lord intended it. It's finally back there. So thank you to Chevrolet. Thank you whoever the engineer was that sat in that board meeting and said, why in the hell are we putting the DEF fill underneath of the hoods? This is stupid. Thank you to that guy, whoever he is and wherever he lives. So yeah, that's exterior for you. You know, the Durabed is the main focal point of it. It's larger. The truck is bigger. Oh, Adam, we're going to talk about the size difference. The truck overall is longer. The truck overall is wider. The bed is bigger. Let's show you the tallness of this truck. Adam's going to come with me and talk about it. I'm 5'10". You know, I don't think I've ever been in a stock size Chevrolet that I didn't just wind up, you know, climbing in. I noticed this in this truck. I literally grabbed the handle and pulled myself into it, which that was a nice feature. But you can definitely see that the truck is overall taller. So next up, we're going to be talking about drivetrain. We want to run through driveline on this 2020 Chevrolet truck. They've done quite a few changes on driveline here that are pretty significant, and want to note them here. So again, remember the theme is Chevrolet is increasing towing capacity quite a bit on these trucks, and maybe going towards more of a heavier duty theme to these trucks with the 45, 55, 6500. So I won't talk about that. So on the ton Chevrolets, the 3500 HDs, you're getting a American axle, rear end again. Rear diff is still American axle, but on the tons you do have a 12-inch ring gear instead of the normal 11.5. Then moving forward, the prop shaft or the drive shaft, these rear drive shafts are much larger on these trucks. Larger, beefier drive shaft. You can see the after treatment system is pretty well the same. DPF back there, and then all of the other components. SCR, I don't know why I mixed that up. Catalytic converters, all still the same. Still got the cat that's on the back of the turbo. You have no real changes that I'm aware of on transfer case. And you're still torsion key system because it still is independent front suspension. However, on this front drive shaft, you have a beefier drive shaft on this side as well. And then you have the 10-speed Allison. I'm a little bit confused about this. One of the selling points that I noticed on the 2020 was the upgrade to PTO on these trucks. So you chassis upfitters, if you've got a guy that's wanting to do dump bed or something, or needing a PTO, then that's capable on this truck. However, this new Allison, this 10-speed Allison, does not have the PTO covers like the old Allison 1000 5 and 6 speeds did. So more to come on that. I'll have to do a little bit more studying on that. Again, American axle, front differential for you four-wheel drive guys, but they have beefed up output shafts, CV axle rods, so they're much beefier. Still got the junky tie rods up here on Chevrolet that just won't get away from that crap. They're awful, but they're good because they're one of the first upgrades that you need to do on your truck is getting those upgraded. And then, you know, again, beefier rods. But yeah, everything pretty well the same as far as that goes. The L5Ps, I don't think we've ever shown that, but a little bit smaller on the oil filter on these trucks. And then you've got this line that you had to contend with. I don't like that. That's kind of a awkward place for that. That could have been down the frame a little bit farther, but other than that, one thing they did get rid of on the L5Ps, obviously, is they got rid of the junky concaves on the oil pan, so that's gone. So now you can get all your oil out of the truck. So beefier frame as well, because these trucks are longer and wider, like we talked about. So this is a new part number on the frame, but looks good. I mean, it's definitely coated again like the older styles were, and it's a nice product. We're going to go ahead and cover interior on this truck now that this is a work truck package on this 2020, so there's not a ton of different features on interior to talk about. You know, we've already talked about the truck overall just being larger. The rear seat, there is an additional 3 inches of leg room on the rear side there, and I think Adam's getting ready to come off the camera and kind of come back around so you can see it. You know, truck was on loaner from one of our customers, brought over today, so we hate to take all of his things out, but this is quite a bit larger on the crew cab side of this, and that much more leg room, and it's quite a bit nicer. So you know, there's really not a lot of bells and whistles on the back there that we need to feature, because again, it's a work truck package. But one thing I do want to say about the work truck package is really being able to scale these interiors down. The interiors, as technology increases and everything increases, and you more and more living by your phone, navigation and things like that, these interiors and on these trucks are adapting to that. This work truck interior, I was really impressed with this. This is a very, very simple interior, and we're probably going to go around to the driver's side and show that cockpit, but the work truck interior I thought was very simple. This interior is bigger, but the dashboard to me, and I may be completely wrong here, just seems a little higher as far as line of sight goes. So it just feels like the whole cabin is kind of deeper, but this is passenger side of the truck. Obviously you can see, you know, the controls are pretty basic on this package. Now Chevrolet, and I think this is going to be true, Chevrolet offers, I think, 7 or 8 different packages that they offer. So you've got tons and tons of different choices that you can go with here for your interior package. So don't let this work truck fool you here. You can totally get it as high end as you want to. I think there's an 8-inch screen nav system that you've got. The gauges on the truck I like the new gauge setup on the new Chevrolets. They don't feel as cheap to me. That's been another complaint that I've had about Chevrolet here lately in the last few years. The interiors felt cheap. They don't feel cheap to me anymore in the last couple of models. So kudos to them for that. One thing that we saw on this truck, or one thing that came out in the 2020 model year, Chevrolet is going to be offering these trucks with the automatic 4-wheel drive. So you can set it to auto. Road conditions will dictate whether the truck is in 4-wheel drive or not. One thing we really like about this truck, and this is in other model years, you hit the cargo lights on these trucks and you're getting a side mirror light that's really, really nice for being able to back up a trailer. I know it doesn't look like much, but you can see how much light is shining back there. You talk about something that's nice for backing a trailer or something in a barn at night. Really, really nice. I was surprised at one of the features on this interior, and this may not be the same on all of the Chevrolets or whatnot, but that the flip down console on this, I know it has the cup holders already in it and whatnot, but it doesn't fold up. You know, there's no place for you to store all your goodies in there. So that was a little bit strange to me. That may change in different packages. Comment on the video here if it does. So yeah, but again, work truck interior, really nice. It's clean, it's simple. I think the lines are better in it. It doesn't feel cheap. The seat quality seems to be very, very good. Kind of, you know, they're rigid. I mean, they're not just crazy plush seats, but you know, the interior's nice. It's clean. So all the lines are there. So looks good. So all right, Adam and I are going to jump in. We're going to take you on a ride along. In our ride along here, Adam and I, we're actually going to bring you an addendum to the interior, because we found a couple of things on this truck that I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to start with the bad before I go to the good here, because I really think it's worth noting. 2 things on this truck interior wise that I hate. I mean, I absolutely cannot stand it already, is the positioning of the tow haul button. The tow haul button on this truck is this little round knob right here. And when you engage tow haul, you get a little indicator. It comes up on the screen. It's going to be different for different trim levels. I understand that, but that is the tow haul button. That's stupid. Whoever the engineer was that came into the board meeting that talked them into moving the DEF back to the fuel door was not the engineer that did the tow haul button. And if you are, shame on you. Shame on you. That's awful. Manual shift. I don't like the manual shift functionality in this truck, because it's a little bit confusing, only because of one letter. If you look at the register here, you have L, okay? So on your manual shift, you can hit plus or minus. It doesn't automatically do it. That's all right, that's fine. You have to throw it down into L, which when you first look at that, you're like, do I throw this in low? Well, L is, now you have an indicator over here so you can switch, you can change through the gears. That's nice, the functionality's there, but for a guy that just jumps into the seat of the truck, I don't know about that. But those are 2 things that I just jumped out to me as just bad. Just, that could have been done so much differently and so much easier for your driver, your pilot, for understanding. So now I'm going to give you a little bit more on interior stuff that we like. On this work truck package, I really like the ease of the functionality of the air conditioner. You have on and off for the fan. You have the temperature blend there. That's really nice. It's not in the navigation system and you have to hunt for that. You know, obviously after you've driven a new truck a couple hours, you're used to it, it's okay, but the functionality is still here. When I want to turn the heat up, I can turn the daggone heat up. When I want to turn the heat off, I can turn it off, up, all the things, AC. I like that really well. All right, now let's talk about the ride along, and really what we're focusing on here is the 10-speed Allison. The first thing that I'm going to tell you is, now that this is the third truck that I've driven that is a 10-speed truck, I like this. I really do. I think Allison's done a good job with this transmission. You really, honestly to goodness, don't know there's that many gears. I think the shift strategy in this truck in stock form is friggin' amazing. I mean, it's really nice. The shift strategy is perfect. I'm driving down the road right now. We're running 60 mile an hour. I'm going to hit manual shift, just see what gear I'm in. 7th. I mean, I'm in 7th. So I've got 3 more gears to run out when I get out on the interstate that I'm really going to be able to climb through. I'm going to be able to save on fuel economy. I'm going to be able to get the RPMs down on this truck. That should be really nice. The exhaust brake functionality, I think, is in a good place. You got to switch down here to turn your exhaust brake on. The capability of the exhaust brake function with tow haul is really nice. Chevrolet's had that for a while. They do just a super good job of that. I mean, radio's good. You turn the radio on, there's the power button. Then you turn the volume up. Then you change it to a different station. I mean, it's pretty easy to be able to get through that. So, you know, that's it. As far as overall on the truck, we like the 2020 Chevrolet. This is a nice truck. There's been a few little quirky things, but it's been like every new truck that we've driven. There's some stuff you like, some stuff you don't like. A lot of it's due to personal preference. I'm probably different than what 90% of the people will be. There'll be plenty of people jump down in the comments going, daggone, wait, I love where the new tow haul button, blah, but you know, I'm not a fan. So, but big fan of the truck. I think Chevrolet's getting it together. I like the direction. I feel like they're going. I may be totally wrong on all this. I just feel like Chevrolet has got an initiative that they're trying to get back into, or be able to feature their trucks as work trucks for the working man, for fleets and things of that nature. Just an industrial truck, for lack of a better word. I like that direction that they're going. So we'll definitely be watching. So. Yeah, that's it. Big shout out to Mr. Howard for bringing the truck up today for us to drive through, and really nice vehicle. We really do appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching. If you're thinking about buying a new Chevrolet, 2020 Chevrolet, thumbs up from Thoroughbred.